My name is Douglas Miano. I'm a professor at the University of Nairobi. I'm also a researcher. I'm the principal investigator for the cassava project. We call it the virus-resistant cassava for Africa. I'm the lead scientist in Kenya. This work, we are working together with the leadership of the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. That is where we are now, in one of the centers at Karo, Arupe. This is where we are doing some of the work that we do, and this is on the development of genetically modified cassava that is resistant to viral diseases. So I'm a virologist by training, and we are really excited today as a scientific community and as a project because of what the President announced today together with the Cabinet, the lifting of the ban on the food, on the import of GM food imports. And we are really very excited. I think this is the news for the decade. We've been looking forward to this. We've waited for it for 10 years. And I think as a scientist, I hope I'm also talking on behalf of other scientists who have been working on improving the crops against the various challenges that we have in Kenya. I think there is nothing more that we can say but to say that we are really happy that the President and the Cabinet came up to this decision, because it's going to help us as a country, it is going to help the farmers, it's going to help the scientists, it's going to help the consumers, and we are saying thank you.
And as a scientist, do you think the lifting of GMO will help tackle the problem of pests and worms that have been affecting GMO plants?
Certainly the lifting of the ban is going to help in alleviating or removing some of the challenges that we are having, especially from pests and diseases. I can give an example of what we have been working on, and this is looking for viruses for cassava that is resistant to two of the most damaging virus diseases. One of the viruses cannot be managed in any other way apart from using the genetically modified technology. At the moment, we know that other scientists are also working on other ways, but at the moment, the only thing that we can say that is going to help in making or reducing the effect of the disease is using of this technology. There are other technologies, for example, in maize, the use of BT maize, the BT cotton, and all of those are going to help in a big way in reducing the damage by some of these pests.
And what do you think were some of the concerns that led to the ban of GMOs in the country?
What led to the ban of the GM is some of the reports that were circulating at that time, and specifically by one of the scientists. He was known as Serrarini, and he wrote a publication that was saying that the GM foods may have harmful effects, but it was proved to be wrong. And of course, we appreciate that there are many people who may be having concerns, and that was one of the issues that came up, and that led to the decision by the Cabinet at that time. This is the information that they had that there could be issues, and that led to the decision that was made. But soon after that, it was proven that that was wrong, including the scientists who had written that paper retracting the paper. So, and it has taken long, because that took less than a year, and it has taken us 10 years to remove this ban. And I think this is the right decision at the right time.
Then what would you say were some of the health problems that are associated with genetic engineering?
First of all, what I would want to clarify, that we don't look at genetically modified crops as one thing, because you have to deal with a specific crop that you are dealing with. We call it case by case. If you are thinking of maize, you look at maize and its safety. If you are looking at cassava, you look at the safety of cassava. So, and when you look at them, there is no crop that is genetically modified that has harmful effects and has been allowed by any government in the world that is harmful. So in terms of safety, I think there is no GM crop that is in the market that is harmful, because it is the scientists work hard to make sure that the safety of the crops are ascertained.
And do you have any products GMO products in the market right now?
It depends on where you are looking at, because if you ask for Kenya, we do have BT cotton. It has already been commercialized. It's already with the farmers. So we do have the GM, the BT cotton in the market. So And that one now is going to, the expansion is certainly going to benefit more farmers and in a wider way. And the products that come out of it will also be of value. So that is BT cotton. The next crop is BT maize. It is not with the farmers yet, but they have finished the work for research that was and selection of the varieties. So once they have been given the go-ahead by the National Variety Release Committee, it should be able to go back into the market. So BT maize is going to be in the markets, for Kenyan markets that is. And then, of course, we will be followed by, once we have finished the selection of varieties that are ready for the farmers for cassava, then the next crop will be cassava. Maybe in the next year or so, cassava will be ready for commercialization. But that is only in Kenya. If you go to other parts of the world, we have many other crops that are ready for already in the market. We have soya beans, we have rice, golden rice that has been commercialized now in Asia. We have cowpea in West Africa, and many other crops in the other parts of the world. So there are crops in the markets that are genetically modified, and this opens us an opportunity for us, especially Kenya. At the moment, one of the biggest challenges we've been having is especially with the animal feeds. And when this ban has been lifted, we are going to be able to import even animal feeds which are genetically modified, which are much cheaper, and that means that our production costs will also go down.
What does the lifting of the ban mean to farmers?
They are going to get the best of the technologies. So the lifting of the ban helps the farmer. For example, the cotton farmer. The cotton farmer can know now he can be able to benefit with a crop that is going to use less chemicals in terms of reducing the damage by pests, and especially the bollworms. If you go to, for example, the maize, the same, the stem borers, the damage by stem borers will be reduced. And when you come to a crop like cassava, the damage by the cassava brown streak disease, which is the main disease that affects the roots, which we eat, eventually when the variety is released, they will also benefit in a big way, because most of these damages, they can go up to 100%. So you are saying that in some cases the farmer, when he could have lost or she could have lost 100%, then they will be able to benefit greatly from what the technology can offer.
And these GMO products, are they good for the environment, and can they coexist with other conventional crops?
Yes. What I said earlier is that we consider every crop on it as a special case, and that's what we call case by case. And when we are assessing for safety, we consider all those factors to make sure that the GM crop is safe as food, it is safe as feed, that is food to humans, feed to animals, and is also safe to the environment. And some of these coexistence issues, issues of gene flow, and any other issue that may concern the environment, it is considered. And what I would also want to clarify is that actually the assessment of safety for GM foods is under the convention that deals with environment, what you call the Convention on Biological Diversity. It is the convention that came up with the protocol, what we call the Cartagena Protocol, that looks at the safety of the GM foods. So it is squarely under the environment that looks at the safety, because when you think about the environment, everything touches on the environment. So any GM crop that is commercialized, it is considered whether it has any effect, and there is none that has any effect on the environment that can be allowed to go to the environment. So yes, it is safe to humans, it is safe to animals, and it is safe to the environment.
And okay, maybe I want you to insist on this, the safe now for you for consumption. You know, there are people asking this question, that are GM foods safe for consumption?
The GM foods might be the safest for consumption. They are as safe as any other food. If you look at maize, the BT maize is as safe as any other maize that can be grown anywhere else. The aspect or the looking at the issues of safety, we follow internationally accepted standards. And we are saying that any GM crop that is going to be released into the market it can be marketed anywhere in the world because the standards that are followed to make sure that it is safe, they are accepted. So in terms of safety, I can assure anyone that the GM foods are as safe as any other crop. So I think this message needs to go out very clearly that the GM foods assessment of safety is done very, very thoroughly. And it might be safer than even the other foods that may not have been passed through any testing for their safety. So as a scientist, I have gone through the process of doing the food safety assessment for the cassava that is resistant to the viruses, and it is a rigorous process. The people who assess for safety in our country, the agency that is given that responsibility is the National Biosafety Authority. It has scientists who are very competent, and by the time they pass any crop as safe for consumption, it can be accepted and is accepted all over the world. Thank you.